Welcome back. That's right. It's another edition of the Advantage Line, your one-stop shop for all things NRL and Rugby League. And once again, I'm joined in studio by Carl Tiley.
Kia ora. How we doing, Paul?
Oh, I should probably be asking you that question after the performance your Wawas put on last weekend.
Look, I'm sure we'll get into it in a little bit more detail shortly, but in hindsight, the performance wasn't that bad. If you base it on other performances of other teams.
Wow.
Hey, mate, us Warriors fans look to we take the positives out of anything we can find.
Speaking of Warriors fans, we're once again joined by Surly. Surly, surely you look back last week and you think, oh, that was a poor performance.
Now, look, we got outdone by a lot of teams, like Carl mentioned. I'd love to hear Blake's take on the Tigers. You know, it's good to be in here, not having the worst points differential from the round. And, yeah, look, the Warriors, they'll bounce back this week. Don't you worry.
I probably shouldn't be talking to the next guy because his team was one of the teams that said, hold on, Warriors, hold our beer. Well, that was, well, you tell me what it was, Mr. Ashford from Papamore.
Oh, did you want... Oh, no, I thought when you said my team, I thought you were talking about the Sharks or the Roosters. But no, the Tigers, yeah. It wasn't the prettiest game, was it? Look, you know, we can delve into that a bit later. But look, there's a lot of things that happened. A lot of people got frustrated. But I guess a lot of the top 8 teams are just making their mark at the moment. And they're ready while the other teams don't have much to play for.
Yep, the cream is certainly starting to rise to the top and the other stuff is sinking to the bottom.
Very creamy at the top.
Well, let's have a look at that. Hold on. The Warriors, first of all, Carl.
Yes.
What happened there?
They played poorly. I'm going to just come out and say it. They didn't play that well. Reece Walsh, I thought, had a bit of a rough night at the back there. I think anyone going one-on-one with Colin Hess is probably not going to come out on top. A couple of errors. I think it was, we got back, I think it was 18-6 or 12-6. Surely better correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, 18.
18, yeah. So got back to within 12 and, at that point thought possibly, a chance of a wee fight back here. But I think ultimately they just sort of dropped their lips, which is tough to take after that performance the week before against the Bulldogs. I think I said, I thought the corner had been turned and we were in for a good time up in Townsville last week, but not to be.
Well, they turned the corner and they ran right into a roadblock, a cowboy roadblock. It was, wow.
I'm sure Surly will be able to put it into a lot better words than I can.
Yeah, Surly, your analysis of the game?
Yeah, it's pretty similar, to be fair. I think we heard murmurs a couple of weeks back that when things go wrong, the boys kind of drop their lips a bit, and we definitely saw that on display again last Friday night. Take nothing away from the Cowboys. They were good. The Warriors certainly weren't, and you can name the kind of the same 2 or 3 individuals that put in performances they could be proud of, and the rest of them not so much. So, look, the bar's set pretty low for this week, but I think the boys will put in a much more improved performance after another spray from Stacey Jones, and I think they'll be counting down the days to get back to Mount Smart again just to finish off the season on a high.
We need to do get an image of Stacey pre-coaching to end of the season and just see how much 8 weeks has aged him. It can't be good.
He won't be recognisable. No, I don't. Blake, they're 28.5 point underdogs this week against a Cleary-less Penrith Panthers. Do you have a positive that you can take out aloud? I know usually Carl's able to come up with some sort of positive. I guess we got it back to within 12 was his positive for this week.
Yep.
Have you got a positive that you could take out of last weekend's game for the Warriors?
Yeah, for the boys, I suppose they weren't the worst defensive team of the round. There you go. There's the boys' positive. Look, I was on here last week.
Under 50.
Yeah,
under 50. That's a positive.
I just want to know. We could probably look back at last week's episode, and I got laughed at when I said Cowboys 13 plus, like it was a laughable joke, and soon turned after about 15, 20 minutes, we sort of knew the writing was on the wall. But Mount Smart's a different beast. When they get to play there, because they haven't played there too many times over the last 2 years, that's when they show up, like against the Bulldogs, like they will next week against the Titans. To play a team that's coming...
record.
Yeah, exactly. You play the team that's coming second at home, who's almost fully fit, and now you go play the team coming first, who's got Luai and Fisher-Harris back. So I think the money's right where it's supposed to be last weekend and this weekend.
Is there a chance the Panthers drop off slightly now they've wrapped up the minor premiership? It's early. No,
every chance.
I was kind of hoping that they'd rest a few people this week now they've wrapped it up, but they've done the opposite. Brought back guys like Fisher Harris and Luai, and they're still running out your Kickows, Uppy Coruscaws, those type of blokes. So it appears they're going with the momentum route. But look, we've still got a few tricks up our sleeve. Don't you worry. Up the wires.
Do I dare ask you if you're any positives in that game for the Warriors?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing. And no positive punting wise for me. So no, I'd like to put that game behind me. Move on. Really not happy about it. Speaking of bad, let's go to the west part of Sydney.
Don't lump these jokers in the same pile as the Warriors.
Well,
it's a completely different pile. You forget it before you go to the Tigers. What about the Broncos?
Yeah, well, we can get to the Broncos soon. We'll get to
Your Bulldogs, Paul. Come on.
Yes. Yeah, the Dogs have fallen on. They have fallen away. But the Tigers, oh my gosh, Blake, they've given it away. Well, they have. They've given the season away. But does the wooden spoon not mean anything? And I'm talking about avoiding the wooden spoon. Does that not mean anything to the Tigers? Because it looks like they've just put up the white flag and said, we're done for the season.
Oh, man, you could sort of tell. I think I'm pretty sure I said in the thing, is it going to be 30 plus this game? And I was wrong because it was obviously about 60 plus. But last game at SCG, their home ground that's been there for so many years before they go back to Allianz, playing Tigers team, that's sort of dwindling downwards, where you got the Roosters who are flying high at the moment and starting to figure things out. It was always going to be bad. I did not think it was going to be like that, but it's interesting to see their move this week because it looks like they've moved New Brown to lock, and that's going to be the sort of thing where they found success with Hastings, a ball player at that lock position. So I don't think they've given up on trying to avoid it. I just think they came up against a team that was way too good and is flying, and they got the future Clive Churchill medalist in there as well. So they're doing well.
Yeah, we'll talk about Clive Churchill odds a wee bit later, and also top 8 odds. Cal, the Tigers, sure, you cannot back them again. You can't.
I don't think I've ever backed them at all this season. But
that's a slap in Blake's face.
Yeah, he should be slapped.
Wow,
terrible team. You're talking about the wooden spoon. If you get, what is it, $1 million or $100,000 for the minor premiership?
100.
You should get that taken away if you win the spoon. That would be why. That gives you. It's like
incentive.
Incentive not to get it.
There will soon be clubs that the clubs would be no more.
It's taking from the poor, giving to the rich.
Don't be sorry, be better.
Wow.
You think you got Sheensy, you got Benji, you got Robbie coming in next year?
Yeah, Appy's come out and said, "Hey, I'm there. I'm coming to turn the ship."
There's a positive for the week. He take away from the Tigers. That's a positive. He said, "I don't care. I'm going anyway."
He's going
Tough scenes.
Yeah, you might have Papali'i. Who knows? You might not.
Yeah, they were bad though. They were really bad.
Yeah,
Surly.
But
they can't turn this around.
The Roosters back row, 7 tries between them.
Yeah, it's the stuff.
6 or 7.
6. But it was the softness.
Yeah, 4 to Butcher and 2 to Crichton. Yeah.
It's just the softness of the tries. Like a grubber kick, I think, was 2 or 3 causes, and they just bounced straight up, or a line run that just ran straight. It was not good viewing.
Yeah, I had a bit of fun watching it, but
I don't know. I don't know where to go here. I think it took the Roosters, what was it, between 15 and 20 minutes to score their first try, and then they were up by 30 by half time. And
they scored 42 more in the second
then it
half.
didn't get any better. It's one of the I don't want to say it's a really good display by the Roosters because they really weren't up against much. What did you take out of that, Surly? First, either from the Roosters or from the Tigers?
Well, just on the Tigers, I think they're probably one of 7 teams that's kind of waving the white flag. They've got Monday, September the 5th circled on their calendars as the date they're looking forward to next, the old Mad Monday. In terms of the Roosters, yeah, I think that they're certainly hitting their straps. They get Taukiaho and Collins back this week as well, so they're coming right at the perfect time of the year. They're definitely a top 4 performing side. And I think obviously the Tigers, like these bottom 8 sides, once they get points scored on them, you just see the heads drop and the floodgates open around this time of year. And I think that was the perfect example of it. Soft tries ends up being a big cricket score.
And so I think that the frustration of the Tigers was personified by Mr. Tamo.
There was 2 or 3 years of frustration
late on in that game, and I can understand he should have had more control. He didn't, and they've sort of let him off slightly by reducing his ban to just the 1 week so he can say goodbye in the final week.
Did it get reduced? Did it?
Yeah, it did. I wonder how the cheese feels about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, they've sort of. I guess they've looking at his long service record and decided to give him the opportunity to say goodbye in the final week. But
I do rate that from Gus and the players coming out and saying, "Look, this guy's obviously a good guy. He's just had a rough week. Just give him a pass here."
The Tigers. Wow.
Would you want to play in that last game? They're probably going to get pumped again. They're happy to just retire right off the sunset.
Who they got? They'll win the last round.
Oh.
I'll give you the tip, Blake. They will not. They have got
Bronx, is it?
Yeah, I think it's the Broncos.
Who should have a lot to
Knock
play.
them out of the top 8.
No,
No,
the
Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders.
Yeah.
Knock them out of the top 8.
The Broncos have got the Dragons. So
Yeah,
the
that's
Dragons
right.
and the Titans sort of hold. The Tigers and the Dragons hold the last top 8 spot in their hands, sort of, if the Broncos lose this weekend. But we'll get to that We'll get to that a bit better. You mentioned the Bank of the Storm being open. Boy, was it open. And I think, did you have a same game multi on the...
No, it was on the Tigers game.
On the Tigers
and
game.
it missed because Ken Maumalo did not score a try.
Ken Maumalo, yeah.
But I said to a couple of mates around the same game multi. I think there was Crichton and maybe Nat Butcher as well, and Roosters by 30, and Maumalo. And about 20 minutes into that game, I think Maumalo's going to be the issue here, not the Roosters boys.
And he was.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, the Storm.
Yeah.
Wow. Roosters, Storm, 2 form teams in competition. This weekend's game is going to be electric.
Roosters slide outside. But Surly, the Storm last week, really showing the Broncos, maybe you're not... you're in the top 8, but are you really?
Is that the Broncos season done?
Well, they're in a real danger now. I think there was images before the game of Kevy Walters kind of firing them up. It looked like he was giving them the ultimate G-up speech, and then they come out and get, 50-odd put on them by a Storm side that are definitely firing on all cylinders now. The pickup of Nofaluma was just outstanding, and you can tell that he's loving life. Not sure if he'll go back to Tiger Town, but
No way.
Munster's carving up. Imagine if they had guys like Christian Welsh in the mix as well. They're still such a quality side, and it just shows how quick the game can change in the space of 3 to 4 weeks once you start stringing some wins together and the confidence gets back up. Again, they're another side you don't want to be playing early on in finals footy.
I want to say that Nofaluma is another one of those players who's gone to the Storm and they've made him look, slotted him in and made him look really, really good. But he wasn't really playing that badly at the Tigers. He was just on a poor team.
He's always been a really good player. He's in a terrible team.
Sort of hurt me a bit when, and it's probably true, he might not be going back. I put the old Instagram story up at the pub, tagged Noff, and he spoke to him. He gave me a like, but usually it's the repost if they're going back. I didn't get the repost, so could be tough scenes for the Tigers there.
There we go. That's the good oil. He's gone.
A social media sign. Repost, I'm going back. Like, I'm staying.
I saw the Storm are due to make an announcement today. They put it up on their social media. They've got some big news. Everyone's saying either Munster's re-signing or Nofoaluma's managed to get out of the last 3 years of his Tigers deal. So we'll see which one it is.
What about big Nelson Sofa-Solomona playing on the edge?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did he? Sorry, mate. Did he play 80 minutes?
Possibly.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
what possibly did because did he start at the front row and then switch to the edge? He did, didn't he? Yeah, I think he could have gone close to at least 80. Felt like that. Maybe I was a bit. Yeah.
I hope they keep him there because Kaufusi's back this week, so they might kind of plug him back into that edge role. But Nelson there, 1-on-1, like an absolute handful. You'd have to keep him there, right?
He's the tallest guy in the competition and one of the biggest in terms of width, and he's just making those guys look silly out there. How would you go, Blake? You got that guy coming at you, like you're always going to be thinking in two minds, right? Like,
yeah, and it's so hard to defend when you're trying to defend shape out there on the edge. That's the hardest bit about it. And then you add someone who's agile, fast, who's 7 feet tall, and will not only punch a hole for you, will run straight over you. Mate, it's tough scenes. Yeah, tough scenes to be a halfback. I mean, if they're doing it to Sammy Walker this week, see, look, I'm already thinking now changing my tips because of if they chuck Nelson there. But it's a wait and see game. I mean, it's the same with Munster. Every week they name him at 6, and then he goes to fullback and has a man of the match performance.
He's all over the place, and that's that roving commission that he's been given is perfect for his style of play. Asofa Solomona played 70 minutes last week, but let's not forget it was just a training run, so just temper that down a wee bit.
Training for this week, maybe.
Well, they both had training runs last week.
Yeah.
The Roosters had a training run against the Tigers. The Storm had a training run against the Broncos. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I hope he gets put, Asofa Solomon, I hope he gets put out on the edge again because he was awesome. Kaufusi could come into the middle quite easily. He's a pretty good defender and he'd do a job. Swap them around.
Right, let's have a look at the top 8 because it's pretty much wrapped up, but one team, it looks like one team out of the Roosters, Raiders, Rabbitohs or Broncos is going to miss out.
It's a two-team race, Paul.
It's a Broncos-Raiders race?
It is.
Right, okay. What have we got? To make the 8, where's that? That's top 8 finished. There it is. Broncos are $1.10. Raiders are $2.65.
Give me the Raiders.
$2.65, the Raiders. So you're already...
The Broncos are not $1.10.
You're already sitting on your $2.37 Roosters ticket to make the 8.
Yep.
Happy with that.
Yep.
Because they're now $1.05.
Yep.
Broncos, who host the Eels this weekend, and then travel down, I think it's to Wollongong to take on the Dragons.
Correct.
In the last week. No gimme. It's not a gimme getting down there. And then the Raiders have got the Sea Eagles this week. That'll be a rainbow win for the Raiders. And Raiders have got the
Tigers
last week. It's not. And they've got the points differential is what, about 40 odd between those two teams.
Yeah, for mine, I was having a look earlier this morning. For mine, the Roosters and the Bunnies are safe. They've got too many points in the bank to miss out, even if they were to lose. I think there's going to be 4 or 5 teams end up on 28 points, if my predictions are correct. And a lot of it will depend on, obviously, on the Raiders Manly this week. Raiders, I think we all agree, should win that. Got some stats to tell you why it might not be so safe. Broncos Eels, obviously. I would hazard a guess to say 4 out of 4 of us would tip the Eels here. They've only got 21 points differential, positives.
Yeah, they're plus 21. The Raiders are minus 25. So it's a 46-point differential between those two teams. Plus the Raiders have 1 win less. So they're on 26 points. Those are on 28, as are the Rabbitohs and the Roosters.
I reckon big. I seriously have a bad feeling that I think it could come down next week to the Roosters Rabbits game.
Yeah, I wouldn't write off the Bunnies dropping out yet.
Mate, I've just got a real bad feeling like Cowboys, they're playing Cowboys this week. We know no did, but Cowboys could get up and we thought the Bunnies last week were going to absolutely destroy Penrith, and we saw what happened in that game. The Roosters could possibly quite lose to the Storm, and then come down to that game next week to see who makes it through and who drops out. Because I think we agree that if the Raiders win this week, even if the Broncos lose, the Broncos win next week, the Raiders win next week, and then the loser out of Souths and Roosters could possibly drop out. I don't think either are safe. I think all those teams are in trouble, and I've got a sick feeling. Got a very
so
bad
hold on to your $2.37 ticket, your $2.37. Hold on to it. All of a sudden, you're just having a wee bit of doubt. You've been rattled somehow.
I hope it's South, because I did tip that a couple of months ago that they were going to get out. No one listened. I've got my hands in many pockets.
Who's missing out?
Yeah, I also think that the Bunnies are a shot to miss out of those top 6 teams, but I personally hope that it's either the Broncos or the Raiders, because I think they're clearly the 2 weaker sides of all of them that are in the contention at the moment, especially the Raiders. I think once Paddy Carrigan comes back next week for the Broncos, that'll be a huge boost. We've seen how good of a leader he is, not only a player. And I just think the Raiders, they're scraping home against sides like the Knights and stuff at the moment. So I'm not sure they deserve that top 8 spot, but it's exciting to see. I think it was last year, we knew the top 8 kind of 3-4 weeks out. So it's great to see that contest for both that and for the spoon. It's hot at the top and it's hot at the bottom.
I think, looking at it, I've got the Bunnies beating the Cowboys this week, and then I've got the Roosters beating the Bunnies next week. I've got Storm beating the Roosters this week, and by that way of thinking, I've got Broncos losing, Raiders winning, Broncos probably winning the last game, Raiders winning again, which would put those 4 teams on 30 points and points differential. Would see the Roosters and Bunnies go through, in my mind.
Yep.
See my little workings here?
I hope that's the case.
Deep. You what?
I hope that's the case. Nothing's ever that clear in rugby league, though.
No, I'm with you, Surly. I hope the best teams make it, because the Bunnies and the Roosters are there. They're 2 teams that can win the competition from 6th and 7th or 8th. But
Who have you got making
Broncos and Raiders.
I don't actually know. The last is it's one of these 2 will.
between those 2?
Between the Broncos and Raiders.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It'll come down to points differential.
So we didn't clear anything up for anyone.
No, not really.
No, we didn't.
No. In fact,
Who do you think's going to?
It may be a wee bit murkier.
Who do you think's going to miss?
I think the Broncos are going to miss.
Yeah.
I think they lose out. I think they lose this week and they lose next week down in Sydney. I think the Raiders pick up at least 1 win. I think probably 2.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Broncos lose 2 in a row. I feel like they lose this week. Lips dropped, packed a sad. Dragons is definitely a game they can lose.
Dragons would love to be the team that
Knocks
denied
them
them a top 8 spot. So
I really think the key is this Manly Raiders game this week. Raiders are, like I say, they should win this comfortably, but like you said, Surly, the way they scraped home against the Knights, they've been up and down all season. You can't get a good read on them. Manly have got a great record against Canberra and a great record against Canberra in Canberra.
They're a broken team, though, the Raiders, certainly, aren't they?
are.
The Sea Eagles, sorry, they're a broken team. They're split down the middle now. There's half a rainbow team and half a non-rainbow team. It's really that rainbow
But
round.
doesn't that just seem like the game that the Raiders would lose, though?
Yeah. But
They haven't performed since then.
When you look at, and I'm sure we'll get into our bets later, your best bets and stuff, looking at the odds, you're tempted to throw that one in, but you just can't, I don't reckon.
No.
Whispers too. Ruben Garrick to the Knights.
Yeah.
He'd be a great pickup for them. Or he'd be a great pickup for any team, to be fair. He's been out.
Can't be many other teams wanting to pick him up because you're not choosing to go to the Knights, are you?
Did the Warriors put their hand up? Did they say?
We've
Don't
got
need
enough
it, mate.
outside backs.
Wowee. And Dewey. Oh, no.
Does he?
Going to join his friend Nofoaluma at the Storm.
Hey.
Is that going to... Blake, come on. Tell us. Is it going to happen?
No, I see what you're doing. Trying to get Blakey worked up on a midweek little potty. Not happening. I'm not buying into it. Dewey's staying. He said he wants to stay. He's staying.
Well, why don't you do a little Insta or something, see if he likes it, or if, then we'll know. We'll know for sure.
Need a couple of beers first.
Big news, though. Trent Barrett to the Eels, and a former host of this show was very, very happy about that move, and not for good reasons. He's questioning why the Eels would be picking Barrett up.
He went all right as a what are they called? Co-coach? Assistant coach.
Yeah. We're at Penrith. Yeah, well,
Penrith are travelling all right.
they are, but they've just lost a couple of assistant coaches and they didn't want him.
True.
So, Surly, good or bad for the Eels?
Yeah, it's going to be one where you kind of have to wait and see. I think he has proven his credentials as an assistant coach. I think he's taking over the attack, and he's also been in charge with helping Arthurs with his hair, because we all know that Trent has some of the best hair in the game. He's a good-looking old roost. So, yeah, he's got a dual role there, but I don't know. I think Arthurs might have been starting to feel a bit of pressure as well. So he's bringing in Trent just to see if he can get a bit more out of this side, and a team that's losing a couple key players as well.
Yep.
Is he really the person you want to appoint as an attacking coach after what he did to the Bulldogs? I guess that's the whole argument, right?
Well, their points scored did change significantly after he was relieved of duties at the Dogs.
Yeah, I think he's proven himself as assistant coach. I think it's good for the Eels. I think it's bad for Barrett. And the reason I think it's bad for Barrett is because, like Shirley said, the Eels are losing players, and I think they're going to decline next year, and then that could be used as him being the scapegoat. Not that it's necessarily him, but he's the new face at the club. They're going backwards, could fall on him. So I think it's good for the Eels because I think he's proven himself as assistant coach. But, yeah, I think he could be the scapegoat next year.
Ah, so it's a plan by Arthur's then.
No, I just think it, yeah. I just think it's going to look bad on him.
Oh, yeah.
There you
He's
go.
jealous of his hair.
There could just, some guys is not made for NRL coaching gigs. They're just
Like head
assistant
coaching
coaches.
gigs.
Yeah,
Yep.
Stephen Kearney, he's got pretty good credentials as an assistant. Terrible record as a head coach.
And there's a difference, because when you're assistant coach, that's why it's always hard when you're with an assistant coach and then they go to head coach, because assistant coaches are sort of your mates. They don't have to lay down the law. They do a bit, but they can joke around with you. They take a lot of training, but the head coach has the final say on a lot of things, where a lot of people are intimidated by the head coach, not so much the assistant coach.
And he's not matey with you.
Yep.
Sort of like you and Carl are head coaches and me and Surly are like assistant coaches, Okay, leave it at that. Must have hit a nerve there.
Who's the head coach out of us?
Yeah, who's the Bellamy? Who's the Bennett?
There we go. Well, I'd like both of you to put your cases forward and I'll make a decision after that.
I'm just sorry. This is off topic
Yeah,
and not
go,
on the
no,
run
go.
sheet. But I'm on NRL.com and I've just opened a story.
Yes.
Prolific Nanai closing in on try scoring records. And they're talking about how old mate Jeremiah Nanai, who, if we remember, nearly died earlier this season, is closing in on Steve Menzies' try scoring record.
Beaver.
Menzies scored 20 tries in 98 and I think 20 in 96 and 95. Wow. 22 and 95. But I've just gone and found one of the quotes. Nanai admitted to NRL.com that he hadn't heard of Menzies until people started to quote his record recently.
Wow.
How are you an NRL player and have never heard of Steve Menzies?
The
Never
Beaver.
on the back rower. Wow.
Different generation.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, guy. Yeah, it's different gravy these days. Fair dinkum. Like, yeah, leave me out of it. Fair dinkum. I don't want that. Crikey. Look, let's go back onto something. We need to finish this with a bit of a positive. NRLW.
Oh,
How good was that first round? That was just so good. And I've got to tell you, I thought that 17-year-old halfback from New South Wales, from Newcastle, Jessie Southwell, what a step she's got. And she's going to be a mainstay of the NRLW.
Not this season, though. I just read something. She's out this season.
No, not her.
Sure?
Yeah, it's the other Southwell.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
Paul, I got my cousin messaged me. He lives in Newcastle and said his son is best mates with Southwell. So a couple of minutes before the game, gives me the little tip. Oh, she's a gun, she's a weapon, everything. Anyway, I read the thing 5 minutes into the game. Missed it. Was going to put a bet on, obviously score a try. The Omer bet. See, she scored first try. Absolute right foot, left foot step. So that just capped off the weekend, obviously, of punting. But she's at 18 or 17 or 18.
17,
like you said, she's going to be there for hopefully the next 15 years. And the game each time they play has gone to another level. I think we spoke about it in the last comp. And it's just, I think more teams are just going to get more and more involved, and the level of players. We've seen some rugby union girls come over as well, and they were more advanced than rugby league at the start, and it's slowly starting to turn. And I can see, some of the ball playing and the movement and the shapes are, mate, it's second to none. It's outstanding what they're doing. I love it.
It looks a wee bit more even this season as well. The Broncos have lost a few players to other clubs. The Chooks certainly looked very, very good the first weekend, but the Knights were, I think they were $3, $3.30 outsiders against the Broncos, and then beat them by 13 or more. So the Broncos have lost that sort of, I guess, the depth that they used to have has been spread out over a number of other clubs. And although the Chooks look very, very good, you can see any number of clubs sort of stepping up. Maybe the Titans looked a wee bit sort of, I don't know, like they'll struggle a wee bit. But I really like the look of the Newcastle team. That Jessie Southwell was sensational. Millie Boyle was huge in the pack. I'm really looking forward to this, the next round, and just seeing how the team sort of progress. Surly, you would have checked out a few games on the weekend as well.
Yeah, that Knights one really stood out for me. Obviously, they won the Spoon last year, and I got here, they only scored 48 points in total the whole of last season. So to pour on 32 against a side like the Broncos, again, it just shows that it's going to be a great competition this year with the player movement. And they look like an exciting watch, as do your Roosters and your Dragons as well. So there's plenty of good sides. And I'm just excited for the comp just to keep expanding over the years to come, because it has all the potential. You watch these games, like the fens, the contact, the cutout balls, the kicking game. It really is like world-class footy. So it's exciting to see.
Mate, that Roosters half, Racine McGregor, the Kiwis half, her win rate at the NRLW level, because I remember she was with the Broncos for the first 2 or 3 years they won it, and then no one wanted to sign her. And I'm pretty sure she went to the Roosters in this previous comp when they won it.
Mm-hmm.
and now she's there again and they're winning again. Like her win rate must be out like close to 80-90%. I don't know how many games she's actually lost as a rugby league player at a professional level.
Yeah, have a look at that Chooks backline, crikey, with McGregor, Isabel Kelly, Jessica Surgis, Bremner at fullback. They're very, very dangerous. But I wouldn't put, they can be beaten.
Clinic against that Eels team, who was close for a while, and then they just
Put the foot down.
put the afterburners on in the second half and just pulled away. What did they score? 4 tries in 15 minutes, and it was just done. It was a good game to watch.
Right. Let's look back at last week. Rabbitohs Panthers. Poor old Jackson. He didn't have the best of nights. Sort of reminded me of, was it Manu Vatuve who had that night against the Eels?
It was Paul, yes.
A few years ago. Just one of those where nothing went right.
2007.
Nothing went right at all. But we saw Manu came back after that. So obviously Jackson won't have the opportunity this weekend to come back. But I think it might be good for him to just have a little break and then maybe even come back next season. I'm sure he'll be better for it. But that's one that the Rabbitohs will rue Surly. They probably should have wrapped that one up and been fairly safe for the 8.
Yeah, you mentioned Manu Vatuvei. You think of like Ed Kossi against the Storm in that Anzac Day game. He went away, applied his trade for Redcliffe, got some confidence back, and he's been on a try-scoring run. So I'm sure Jackson will do the same. I think this game just showed like how good the Panthers are. It's crazy to think the amount of personnel they're missing out on. And then they rock up at the Bunnies and they beat a side that many were tipping. Now we're playing like a top 4 team, sorry. So just shows how classy this Panthers side is. But I do think the Bunnies will regret that one a little. They still played quite well, but they certainly missed some opportunities.
Cowboys Warriors, we've probably covered that now.
Yeah, move on.
Just quickly on the Panthers, Liam Martin on the right edge. He is wow. That final set to when he scored the match winner, but he was instrumental in setting that whole thing up. Paul shaking his head. Obviously went pretty hard on the Bunnies.
Poor start to the weekend. Poor finish. And it was a poor middle as well. Just a poor weekend.
But like what you say, Silly, they are a very good team and they've just got depth across the park. And to get Fisher Harris and Luai back this week is a scary prospect.
Storm Broncos. Well, we probably talked about the Broncos and the Storm as well. Eels, Bulldogs, Dogs. They've got no bite left. They're looking forward to next season. Eels.
Gee, you've changed your tune.
Well, come on.
We just look for some consistency on this show, Paul.
Look, I've been consistent. You just told me I've been consistent over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've lost every week. Don't get much more consistent than that. Sharks. We thought they might be in a wee bit of trouble having to go to Brookie to take on the Sea Eagles. No, they weren't.
No.
Nicholas Hines was looking very, very good. Again,
he's a very good player.
He can play. The Roosters in their training run against Blake's Tigers. Dragons Titans. Sort of, well, obviously a game with not a lot to play for, apart from the Titans, who probably do want to avoid the wooden spoon. Who was the Dragons boy out wide? Did he get a hat trick?
Yeah.
I guess a bright spot there. I thought, was it Fa'asua Maliawi who made that break down the left and got foot tapped by, I can't remember who it was, but looked like a try was going to be scored. I thought that was a defining moment in the game because I thought the Titans, if they got that, would have got a wee bit more of a boost and could have been in it, but he didn't. I don't think they scored from that set of 6 either. And then the Dragons sort of did enough after that.
The young fella's starting to step up, isn't he? The last couple of weeks, Amon.
Yeah.
The 6, he scored a couple of tries. He's starting to run the ball. He's starting to look good. And like I said in our chat, I mean, I can't remember the last time, a team's got points scored on them when they were facing 12 players.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Oh, the two head coaches are going at it
Here we
again.
go.
Ollie.
They're putting their cases
I
forward.
was wondering why there was nothing written on the chat.
Post-game presser. She's blowing up.
Final game of the round. Knights Raiders. Knights look like they were in for this one, and
That last try.
then those orange jerseys came back to haunt them. As you know, can't win in an orange jersey these days. Just does not work. Doesn't happen. Can't do it. Have a look. I don't know. Any teams playing in orange jerseys this weekend? I wouldn't back them. Wouldn't back them.
That last try from Jack Whiten from the Raiders. That who was it? Tapane put Papali'i through the hole, back to Tapane, back to Whiten. The big three.
Boom,
Hell
boom,
of a
boom.
try. Hell of a try.
Right. Let's look forward to this week. Check out 3 games. We'll check the Thursday night game out. Yep. Suncorp Stadium. Broncos, Eels, a huge game in terms of top 8 / top 4 positions. Statman, what are you going to send us here?
It's all blue and gold, buddy. Pair have won 14 of the last 24, dating back to 2009. They've won 7 of the last 10 and 5 of the last 6. I think Broncos did win earlier this year. Yes, correct. Para have averaged 33 points in the last 6 games versus the Broncos. Broncos have only averaged 12 in the last 6 versus the Eels. Average total by the bookies in the last 10 has been 41. The average total points scored in the last 10, 47. But the over-under is a 5-5 split. Total this week is 48.5. The average point start in the last 10 is about 5.5. This week it's 3.5. And it's Eels average winning margin in the last 5 wins is 29.6 against the Broncos. And the average winning margin by either team in the last 10 is 22.5.
Certainly a big victory for the Broncos over the Eels earlier this season. But Carrigan he's a big out for those boys. How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I was interested to see today as well. Kevy Walters came out and said that Cobbo's going to be rested. An interesting time to rest him. They said he isn't injured. They're just giving him the week off. So with your top 8 hopes on the line, that's an interesting selection. But yeah, I think Parramatta, just with Moses back at the helm, we saw the combination of him and Dylan Brown. They were just putting on some amazing tries last weekend. So I think Para will be too strong. Wouldn't be surprised if it's close and in that kind of 1 to 12 range, because the Broncos will be stinging after being humiliated at home again last week. But I do expect Parramatta and especially Moses to turn it on and be too good. But who knows with the old roller coaster?
Yep.
Blake, what roller coaster are you getting on?
Oh, mate, I'm going Para, and I have absolutely no faith at all.
Yeah.
Trying to find some faith, and it's maybe that Parramatta are settled on their squad moving forward to the semis. They've got Madison at the back. They've got Opacek in the centres with Wanga, Blake, and Siva on the wings. They finally look like they settled their squad. I'm hoping they just go forward from here. I'm going to take Para, but I can't tip them 13 plus, 1 to 12.
I could tip them 13 plus. Broncos are done. Dylan Brown is a very good player.
Oh,
Eels
yeah.
just win.
Yep, I like the Eels. I do like the Eels. Second game, Panthers Warriors at the foot of the Blue Mountains. Statman, I know you probably had to dig deep to find some sort of angle where the Warriors get up there, and you probably still failed.
Yep. There's not a lot of Warriors in this chat. Panthers have won 16 of the last 25, 5 straight, and 7 of the last 10. The average point start in the last 5 has only been 7.5. Has been 12.5 in the last 5 and 7.5 in the last 10. What did you say it was today? 28.5.
28.5 point underdogs, the Warriors.
Wow. Panthers average winning margin in the last 5, 16.2. The average winning margin by either team in the last 10, I'm having a shocker here, is 18. The average total in the last 10 is 40.5. The Panthers have averaged 25.5 points in the last 10, while the Warriors have only averaged 15.6. The under has hit in 4 out of the last 5 matches. CHT is back for the Warriors.
Shirley, tell us why we should be back in the Warriors.
Yeah, look, Josh Curran comes back into that starting role where he should have been the whole time, and he'll fix us up with those starts. He's going to get us firing on all cylinders. Then, like Carl mentioned, CHT, he's back in the saddle. Ben Murdoch-Masila, fresh off that horrible elbow injury, he comes back in the middle to fire up our bench. And then you mentioned earlier, any positives from the last game? I thought Tom Ali's been outstanding.
Yeah.
His post-contact meters, geez, if that doesn't get you excited as a Warriors fan, nothing will. So I'm excited to see him rip into that Panthers pack off the bench as well. And yeah, this just screams a famous Warriors victory. So I'm all for it.
Love that, Sealy.
There goes my notes, because I had Luai back, Fisher Harris back. Not even the staunchest Warriors supporter would think they could win. Obviously proven wrong. Yep, take that back. I don't think it's as bad as last week. There you go. There's a positive. I don't think they get beaten as much as last week. I think, yep, Luai's back, Fisher Harris is back. I just think that it's going to take a bit for, Luai and Sullivan that to get moving and flowing again. Trying to find some positive here for the boys. But look, I don't think it'll be, I think the start this week is a get on for the Warriors. I think that's huge. And you thought last week was disrespectful. Well, 29.5 is very disrespectful, I think.
I'd love to see the boys just throw it around this week. Like, you've literally got nothing to lose. You're expected to lose by 30 points. Like, chuck it around, have a go. Right from the get-go. None of this one out, up the guts. Like, just throw it side to side.
I'm sure Brian Thorpe will be throwing it around quite a bit. You're gonna get sick of the sound of the wow.
Go on, Sealy, do it.
That's the problem. The Warriors don't have one, so we need to work on that ASAP.
Yeah,
we should get the ruler on a string.
I tell you what, I got sick of the old cock-a-doodle-doo on the weekend. It was blasted through my speakers every 2 minutes, and geez, she's a fired-up rooster, that one.
Speaking of the Roosters, that's the.
Do we dare ask where you're going in that game?
What did I not say? Wow, enough.
Sorry.
Wow. Storm Roosters, Amy Park, Statman. Which way do we go?
It's all purple and gold. Storm have won 5 straight and 7 of the last 10 against the Chooks. They've won 17 of the last 26, dating back to 2009. They've had 3 Golden Point games in the last 12, these two teams. And Roosters won 2 of those. The average point start in the last 10 has been 4.5, which is the same as the line this week.
Yep.
The Storm's average winning margin in the last 5, 18. That's with a 46-0 score in there. The average winning margin by either team in the last 10 is 11.7. There are 8 single-digit winning margins in the last 12. If we take a look at the last 12 matches, well, 11 of the last 12, we remove that 46-point outlier. The average winning margin drops from, what did I say?
11.6.
11.6 to 6.8. So traditionally quite a close game. The under has hit in 7 of the last 10. This is where the money is, I think, here. The average total in the last 10 has been 32.7. The average total line set, 37.5. And the line
is it, 41 or 42?
42.5 this week.
Ooh,
so based on the stats, there's about a 10-point discrepancy there.
I can see you taking one of those 3-way totals in the under.
You know my, yep.
Really?
Storm have averaged, sorry, I'm not done, mate.
Oh,
Storm have averaged 19 points in the last 10 to the Roosters 13. Surly. Oh, no, wait. The Roosters have only won 3 of 9 at Amy Park.
Right.
Done. I'm done.
Shirley, home team or away team?
Yeah, I'll go with the home team, and just on them as well, a cheeky little update running announcement, but the Storm have come out and said it's announced at 5, but it's not Cam Munster, but you'll still love the news. So there's no Faluma odds shortening, maybe even Craig Bellamy. Could be Bellamy signing on, who knows? But yeah, look, both teams get some key players back. We mentioned the Roosters with their prop rotation getting really bulked up, and then the Storm get Kafusi back. I'm going to go with the Storm. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's definitely the game of the round, if not one of the top 2. So I can't wait to watch this one. I guess we get to see how good the Chooks really are, because they've been beating up on a couple kind of lower ranked teams, especially last week. But the Storm side at home, when they're playing well, they're definitely a different beast. So I'm really excited for this. Storm 1-12 for me.
Yeah, this is the Roosters team that I tipped at the start of the year to win the comp. Both these teams are in exceptional form. And I think, this time last year we were talking how good the Roosters go and they got no players. Now you got Lindsay Collins back. You got Siwa back. Their team's starting to look almost fully fit, fully healthy. And when you got Suwali and that bringing it back, I think Teddy in good form. The back rowers in good form. I think it's going to be a close one, but look, I think the Storm are still, that Pappenhausen loss is bigger than everyone's thinking. I think the Roosters get this win in close, tight-knit fashion.
I disagree. I think the Storm will win this.
I'll have the Chooks.
Split panel. I love it.
Right. Let's get to some betting.
I feel like there might be another split panel coming up shortly too.
And we'll start with your best head-to-head.
Whoa.
Oh, we're going to look. We don't really want to look back, do we?
We didn't have a look back at last week.
Let's look forward.
No way.
I wouldn't bother. I'm with you, Paul. Glass half full, eyes on the prize, move forward.
We have a new leader, folks. Blake Ashford, former NRL superstar, currently sitting on positive $1,050.
He was negative over 1,000 a few weeks ago. Favourite for the wooden spoon.
He was.
He is now he's done the Chooks.
We've got a new favourite for the wooden spoon too, mate.
He's done the reverse night. He started cold. He's come hot. Had everyone talking of the spoon. He's back.
In second place, I don't know. He's losing. He seems to be losing money every week, but Surly's still hanging on to second place with positive $1,044.
Oh, she's
close. She's close.
Very close. $6 in it.
Right. Should we get on with it now?
Third place, Carl. That's me. I'm coming for you, boys. Positive $770.50. I actually won the week last week with $220 in the positive.
All right.
And Paul Moati. Still in the positive,
Yeah,
right?
I'm in the positives.
$19.50.
Boom. You can get a nice Big Mac super combo with that one, I think.
Yeah, get three cups of coffee for that.
Not in town, you can't.
Yeah, not in Auckland, I'll tell you that much. That's half a cup of coffee, mate.
Blake was last week plus $14.50. Myself plus $220. Paul lost $324.
Ooh.
And Surly lost $154.
Wow.
Up the wires.
Right. Can we move on to this week?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bets for this week. And let's have your best head-to-head. Mr. Top of the Table, Blake Ashford.
Bit Larry. But yeah, they're going to win. Roosters, $2.30.
We'll go with Mr. Runner-up at the moment, Surly.
Yeah, I went the Dragons, $1.36. Nice and safe. I'm coming for you, Blake.
Me?
Yeah.
The Bunnies, $1.49. I won 6 straight against the Cowboys.
I'm going the Roosters, $2.30.
I don't know if that's
That is
good
right.
thing or
Really,
bad thing.
That's your best head-to-head.
That's my best head. Look, what does it say there?
really had you pegged for the Panthers $2.
Roosters. Well,
Was that to come? Is it in the multi?
right. Can we now move on to our best multi-anchor? And we'll start with Blake again.
Yep, I've gone the Parramatta Seals at $1.65.
Surly.
Sharks 13 plus $1.30.
What are we doing? Multi. Under 42.5 points in the Storm Chooks game, $1.85.
I've gone with the Eels at $1.65.
Oh, this is a good thing or a bad thing?
This is a very bad thing for you. There it is there. We'll go for the best total now, Blake.
I've gone the Raiders Manly game under 51.5 at $1.85.
Sealy?
I went the Roosters Storm under 42.5.
Roosters Storm total points three-way under 38 at 275.
I've gone Broncos under 21.5 at $1.92.
That's not too bad.
Your best roughie, Blake?
Adam Doueihi to score a try and the Tigers to win. 550.
You mean 55.50?
Should be. I thought the same.
Wow.
Sealy?
I did have the Tigers 1-12 under 50.5, but I've changed it. I think Dewey's going to have a big one.
Interesting. I had Nelson Asafa-Solomona to score anytime at sevens, but then the Kafusi things rattled me a little bit. So I'll go Lodge to make it 3 tries in 3 weeks at $12.
Oof. Wow. This is Manly 1-10 at $6.
Wow.
Against the Raiders. I expect the Raiders to win, but it's a roughie, right? They've won 8 of the last 10 against the Raiders and 5 of the last 7 in Canberra. I've got here in my notes, Canberra should win, but it does seem like a game the Raiders could drop the ball.
Right, earlier on I said you cannot back a team that's wearing orange. It's very hard for them to win. My roughie is Tigers to win and under 50.5 points to be scored at $5.50.
You should have done this. You should have done the Tigers 1-12, Paul.
Wow.
$7.50.
I was thinking about it, and then I thought I don't want to be too greedy just in case they put on a clinic and they absolutely romp away with it. Just in case.
I see the new Brown at 13's got you excited as well.
Oh, very much so.
Did you watch the game last week?
No Gardner, no
before.
Malmalo. They're losing. They're dropping like flies.
Right, we'll move on. A winning team and margin bet. First of all, for the Broncos Eels, Blake.
Eels 1-12.
Ditto.
Eels 13 plus $3.
Eels 1-12, $3.30. Panthers Warriors.
Panthers 13 plus.
$1.14.
Yeah.
Warriors plus 29.5.
Nah.
I'll go Warriors 1-12. Why not?
Oh.
The boys.
Wow, what is that? No,
$15.
what is that?
Pay $15.
Oh,
Yeah. Multi that up with North Harbour to win the Ranfurly Shield. You'll get 57 of the best. Thank me later.
I'm going to follow you in, Surly. Warriors 1-12 at $15.
You don't believe that.
If someone wins this, I can't let them be the only one to win this. We've got to do this together.
Yeah.
You don't believe that.
They can win this, Blake.
Panthers 13 and over, $1.14. Storm Roosters, Blake.
Roosters 1-12.
Storm 1-12.
Storm 1-12, $3.10.
$3.10 for Storm 1-12, is it? I'm going Roosters 13 and over at $5.50.
Whoa, the bank.
Yeah.
Were you just saying before we went to record that you were back on the bank and you're going big?
And you said I'm not allowed to be. I'll jump back off. Now I'm on the Roosters.
Consistency, Paul. It's all we after.
Chook, chook, chook. We got bonus back on every game. Same game claim on every game.
We do.
Oval ball mega multi-buster.
We do.
So let's start with a same game multi from Blake.
I've gone the Dogs game. I've gone the Dogs 18.5 start. The Fox to score. And Big Andrew Fafita's last game at Shark Park to get across the line and salute. So, yeah, big fifter. Going to miss him at Shark Park, but I think he's going to carry on a bit as well after the try. Tune in.
Shirley?
I went with the Parramatta Broncos game. Think there'll be a few tries scored. Went Wonga Blake, Papali'i, and Oates, $8.50.
Get him at Leary. In the Storm Roosters game. Storm to win, under 33.5. Noff to score, and Tupou to score, $51.
Oh, don't mind it.
It's caught some attention.
Whoosh.
Yeah.
I've gone Roosters to win by 2 or more. Nofo Aluma to score a try. And Su'ali'i to score a try. That's $9.
Oh, it's good to have you on board. Week 24, round 24, you're here.
I'm warming up for next season. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry. Can you give us an oval ball multi, Blake?
I can. Very close last week. Bunnies got me, killed me. We've got the Eels, the Roosters, the Raiders, and the Bunnies all head to head. The Bulldogs plus 22.5 and the Tigers plus 8.5. $25.
Nice.
Still
Shirley?
the line is 8.5 for the
Yep.
Tigers game.
Yep. Wow, sure is.
Bit too long.
Cheap it.
Your
My wicked wingers wasn't
Wicked
working, so
wingers.
I've decided to upside to the old family pack. Gone with the big boys. So Hudson Young, Liam Martin, Papali'i, and Beau Fermor all to score $79.83.
the family pack. From the wicked wingers to the family pack. Oh,
Horrendous.
yes. Right. Give us your potato and gravy then, please.
Eels and Storm head to head. Manly plus 13.5. And the Bunnies head to head 7.29.
Nice. I've gone Roosters to win, Eels to win, Raiders to win, Tigers plus 8.5. That's $8.94. Bang.
Nice.
I think we're done.
Done.
We've done it. Anything else to add? You looking forward to anything?
Looking forward to plenty. I don't know what though, but there's
What,
a lot
rugby league
Rugby
wise?
league.
Old Boys Day next week. Warriors game.
Yeah, we've got
Be pumped.
one more another game in the club rooms.
Did you give some tickets away?
Look, believe it or not, I don't think anyone entered. So either that says something for our listenership, or that it's just not interested in coming to the club rooms. So look, we'll leave it open again for another week. DM us, slide into our DMs, up the wires, and you're in the draw to win a double pass to the club rooms next week for the Titans game.
Pretty easy.
Very easy.
I'll take them if no one else takes them.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, cool. There you go. I'll be at the Warriors game, final week of the regular season. If no one DMs us, slides into our DMs. You told me that was bad when I said it, and then you've been saying it a couple of times. What's the deal here?
Because you're 70.
Oh,
You can't say that.
wow. All right then. Well, yeah. What is it? Up the wires. Up the wires.
Up the
Would
wires.
Odds you wear a Titans jersey to the lounge, Paul?
Mate, they're worse than the Warriors. Come on. Hey, I'm a Wire supporter.
Oh, here we go.
Wire supporter. Next week. I'll be a Wire supporter. Yeah. Not this week. All righty. Thanks to Blake up there at Papamoor. Thanks to Surly up there in the big smoke of Auckland. Thanks to Carl here in the studio.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks to you guys for listening. And we'll be back again next week for another edition of The Advantage Line.